On today's episode of Titus and Tate, Sully Boom has a message for the haters, Tate, and the
Mm.
message is we can, in fact, win on the road. I am not going to miss any shots until he ended up missing shot, but he was like 5 for 5 from three, I think, to start this game. Xavier gets a big win at UConn and silences the haters, Tate. There were some people out there. I saw friend of the program, John Fanta, interviewing Sully Boom. And the topic came up of can Xavier win outside the Cintas Center? And Sully Boom addressed those haters out there. So I find that interesting that were there people out there that were
There
doubting?
were people that were talking, and
Interesting.
Sully Boom looked at them in their eyes and said in his best Mr. K impression, "Shut up! Shut up!"
I know that UConn is in a bit of free fall. I know
Mm.
that UConn is not the team that we thought them to be even a month ago, but certainly at the start of the season. But this was still a very impressive win for Xavier, and
Right. Throw up the X.
yeah, I
Sean Miller wins. In the end, Sean Miller is winning, and also Lauri Markkanen, a Sean Miller player, is going to be an all-star. So Sean Miller is he's just collecting W's
this man
everywhere.
cannot stop winning. Hang
Right.
the banners. Xavier has done it. They are they are your champions of the Big East in January. Alabama, meanwhile, did not look like the best team in the country against Mississippi State last night. So
Mm.
that begs the question, Tate, who is the best team in the country then? Because we do know it's not Purdue. We figured that out.
We
So
have
now
solved that
we're
mystery.
gonna go back to the drawing board and figure out who are we now that Alabama looked a little susceptible.
Uh-huh.
Mississippi State is good though, man. They won't go away. I think like Mississippi State's another team. Their defense is tough, dude. But they're another team that started a little hot. Fizzled out. They weren't playing terrible, but the hype kind of died down a little bit. But they're not going to go away all year. And I don't think Alabama has anything to be ashamed of. But at the same time, the Alabama team we've been seeing just wreck everybody. Hit a bit of a speed bump against
Mm.
Mississippi State. We'll say, but
Hopefully
they still
not a
won.
wall.
But they
Yeah.
still won.
Yeah.
And that certainly is what matters most, I guess. Speaking of winning, Houston gets back on track. Big win at UCF. As I said, they had the stinker of the game against Temple. Is how I think I put it. You get one stinker. Is that what I said?
Yeah. You get one stinker.
And I need the bounce back. They certainly bounce back at UCF. Meanwhile, is it time to start worrying about Kansas? I've been saying over and over, I'm not going to worry about Kansas, no matter how often they lose, no matter how sloppy they look at times. No matter how nonchalant they look, no matter how one-dimensional, or I guess two-dimensional, if Grady Dick is hitting, it is with Jalen Wilson carrying everything.
I need some
I will,
chalant.
yeah,
Give me some chalant.
yeah.
Let's show some urgency and let's get there.
What else? Good guy, bad guy, Cal's guy.
Cow's
Are we
guy.
getting them all?
We're
Getting
getting
the
them
full
all.
gamut today.
Yeah.
I
Put
might
your
do.
fours up.
I might do a fraud power rankings as well. So a lot to talk about. We'll get to all of it, but first,
Woody Durham.
all right, let's start with Xavier UConn game. Xavier pulls off the season sweep of UConn. Had already beaten UConn at the Cintas Center. That was UConn's first free fall loss. That was their first loss, literally their first loss. And then it
Yes.
started this whole UConn is now what, 6 of 8 they've lost?
Mhm.
This game was wild. This was a wild. Like Xavier comes out, is hitting everything. UConn, I was one for, was it 13? Was that
13.
what it got
Yes.
up to before they could hit anything? And then UConn just decided to invite some chaos into the game. The crowd was going nuts. I thought there for a second that the crowd was going to will UConn to a W. Xavier holds off, wins the game, and I guess like it is just a regular season game in January against a team that probably won't be ranked when the next poll comes out. Against a team that is, as we've said, is in a little bit of free fall or certainly not playing good basketball right now. But I came away from this very, very impressed with Xavier because of what we just said. Like there were questions, and I never said they couldn't. It was never like when I was saying I want to wait and see what this team looks like against a good team outside of the Cintas Center. It was never like that. I expect them to be frauds. It was just I'm
That's what
curious.
Sully Boom thought.
Yeah,
That's what he heard.
I was never like I think this team sucks and I'm gonna double down on that. It was just more like I want to caution myself from being too enamored by Xavier having just an insane home crowd. One of the top 10 I believe, according to CBK report.
Yes, and
One of the
CBK
top,
report, if he says it, that's the law.
one of the esteemed sources we have in this sport.
I trust him more than anyone who's even been to the buildings.
So, so I wanted to see what Xavier looked like in an environment like this against a team that's a little desperate. And UConn, it got to the point where in that second half, as UConn came roaring back, if you would have covered the score based on the way UConn was just so hyped and the fans were going crazy and all that sort of thing, you would have thought that UConn had taken a 10-point lead,
Right.
that it completely swung the game. They never led. They never
They cut
actually,
it to 2.
they cut it to 2.
And Sean
They got
Miller
close.
said timeout.
Yeah.
And Sean Miller got the boys together, and I think they went on a 6-0 run right after that, and it
Yeah.
almost felt like, okay, well, now game over again. But like you said, it was a great moment in time. It was nice to see Connecticut had 55 points in the second half after scoring 24 in the first half. So it was nice to see the UConn that looked familiar in the second half, but they really needed this win at home. That's what's frustrating if you're a UConn fan.
Yeah, I mean, UConn,
No moral victories.
UConn is who they are at this point, I guess. Like now, I'm done waiting for the UConn we saw at the start of the season to come back. I don't think they're coming back.
And to be fair, we kept Tristan Newton was the fall guy. We kept saying if Newton can get it together, he had a great game. He had one of his best games in quite some time. And
Andre Jackson's the new fall guy.
Right.
Andre Jackson is I'm starting to get, and I love this guy. But I'm also doing the Tate Frazier thing where
and I like the guy.
I have to preface I love him.
Right.
And the only time I ever talk about him is when I'm saying what I don't like about him right now. He's entering that Ethan Morton territory, Tate, of he does a little bit of everything, or is he doing nothing?
Right.
And is he just a liability out there?
I love do somethings.
I like
do everything's the best.
When Andre Jackson
there's a lot of do nothing going on.
When he's on the point of that 3-2 they're playing and he's, swarming the ball, and then he's not like turning it over on the other end, and he's not taking stupid threes, and he's just slashing and grabbing offensive rebounds, and he knows who he is. Love him. Love him. There's him and David Singleton are, those are the two guys that I find myself just when they're playing well, I go freaking crazy about them. I'm like, these guys, I might be the only person in the world that thinks these guys are the best players on their team, but that's how I feel sometimes. But then every so often, Andre Jackson is not good, and I'm waiting for early season Andre Jackson to come back. I'm waiting for him to like stop. I feel I'm going to blame Sam Vecini because I think Sam Vecini once upon a time early in the season said Andre Jackson, if he can develop a jump shot, is a first-round pick with that athleticism and that defense. I don't know if that's true, but I remember Sam tweeted something about like
sounds like Sam.
Sam said he loves Andre Jackson's game. I feel like that's what's happening with him is like he's gotten into the NBA draft.
It's the worst
prep.
pool to get into.
Dude, it's terrible.
Once you're testing the waters, you're going to lose sight of the college basketball game. I hate to see it.
But yeah, UConn, I don't think they're getting it back. I think Aline and Calcaterra and some of these guys that were looking good at the start of the season, and that was what was so fun about them. I don't know, man. It feels like so many of these guys are regressing. Even Sonogo, dude. Sonogo was such a beast, and he's just kind of out there, and like I don't know. It's frustrating. But on the Xavier side, I also find it hilarious that at this point in the season, Xavier's like who they're going to be, and this Xavier team is going to be an offensive minded team. As you said, they gave up 55 points in the second half, and that is hilarious to me because when you think of Sean Miller's Arizona teams that were at their best, it was the exact opposite. They were playing lockdown defense with like Nick Johnson and Stanley Johnson and Aaron Gordon swatting shots,
right?
And, that was their identity, was defense. And then if anything, their offense was clunky as hell, and he just had.
I mean, even DeAndre Ayton, the rim protection was what was so fascinating about him.
And then the offense would be clunky as hell because he would at times play like 2 7-footers that couldn't play with each other, but they're out there at the same time, like just clogging the paint. And, and they couldn't shoot. They could, and it's so fascinating now that like
couldn't pass to each other.
The man took 1 year off, and someone along the way told him you have to make shots to win at this level, and he was like, "Okay, I'm going to change how I coach my teams."
Sully Boom.
He's like, "I'm going to get Sully Boom, who's a shot maker. Get this man on my team."
I will say right now, I'm in a battle in my mind of who has the best name going: Boots Radford for Texas A&M or Sully Boom. Both of them are great.
Puff Johnson's up there.
Puff Johnson, get healthy.
Puff
Johnson, please get healthy. Please, Puff. We need you.
Puff Johnson is leaky black too. I mean,
North Carolina's got
Caleb Love.
I mean, even having Mondo, like with the Mandalorian, being able to yell Mondo, like, come on. I mean, the kids love it.
It's yeah, Carolina's got some good. Remember Leaky Black? I don't know if you remember this.
Leaky Black played
He
with Seventh Woods. You remember
Seventh
that?
Woods, dude. What is it? What is it about Carolina guys?
Great names.
Tyler Hansborough's not a good name though.
But he's a bro, so it kind of works.
Phil Ford's a good name. Michael Jordan, honestly, not a good name.
Strong name.
No,
Strong
I
name.
think if you James Worthy's a good name.
Oh, so
That's
good.
a great name.
Sam Perkins. Are you kidding me? Rick Fox. Are you kidding me? Rick Fox, Jim?
Joe Forte.
Yeah, Joe Forte. This is Forte.
Ed Coda.
Oh my God.
Should we just keep going?
Yeah. I mean, this might be my favorite episode of Tyson Tate.
Does Michael Jordan actually sneakily have one of the worst names? If you really think, like, he made his name what it is because he's awesome, but like a guy named Michael Jordan is kind of boring, isn't it?
Right. It's like Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon is boring until he's elite.
How did we get on this? Sully Boom has an awesome name. And I agree
Boots
with
Radford
you.
also has
Boots Radford has an awesome
30
name.
points the other night against
Remember
Auburn.
when Leaky Black threw that pass off the backboard?
Leaky Black is in the same class as Nasir Little and Kobe White. Two contributors on the NBA
Two
level.
also great names, by
Right.
the way. Yeah.
Kobe White's a great name.
Yeah. Yeah, Sully Boom is I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to put too much pressure. Sully Boom obviously listens to the show, which is why he called out the people that were saying, I want to see Xavier win outside of Cintas. So Sully, turn this part off because this is going to submarine Xavier's season if he hears this.
Oh,
but
you have more takes.
I think the fifth All-American spot, he's got a chance, dude. He's got a chance. Because as a reminder that you're all Americans right now, Zach Edey lock, Brandon Miller lock, Jalen Wilson probable lock. That's how I classify it. Drew Timme probable to. You have your Timme doubts.
I've had my Timme doubts, but out of respect to Drew Timme because he's been here so long, I've decided to say, and I like the guy, and leave it alone.
No, the role reversal. I was the guy that started the year that had the
I think where my stance on Timme is right now is I raise my eyebrows. Where I'm like, are we sure?
Yeah.
Are we sure this is going to be our first team All-American? Do we have to?
Timme being Ethan Happ is one of my great takes I've ever had in the history of the show. Which I think like people hear and they are defensive about.
Well,
that's
disrespectful to Ethan Happ.
Disrespectful to Ethan Happ too. Go
look at the tape.
Look at the tape, dude. Look up the numbers.
Right. So slow it worked.
But Timmy's going to be an All-American. That's what there's a difference between like how I would vote and what I'm telling you.
I'm talking about first team. I think he's an All-American.
He's going to be.
You think he's going to be first team?
Again, like this is not me arguing that he should be.
Right.
This is me telling you the reality. The reality of the
yes,
situation is this man will be voted first team All-American.
The same people that have AP votes are going to be making these votes.
But I think that fifth spot now, Trace Jackson Davis, if he continues to play out of his mind the way he is, where he's just completely carrying Indiana on his back, it's going to be hard for him to not be named All-American. But there are a lot of candidates. Mike Miles is in the mix. Or you said Baycott's in the mix. Oscar's in the mix. There's a lot of guys. Jaquez is in the mix. Tubellis. I just want to say, Sully Boom, print the graphic. Sully Boom,
we
legacy,
speak your name.
in the mix. Stamp it.
He's in the mix. Yeah.
So
one last thing on UConn I want to bring up before we move on. There was a headline and a story written on ESPN by Jeff Borzello, and shout out to Jeff. He does a good job. But here's the headline, and I think it will be a Duffy nominee at the end of the season. But he says UConn's Dan Hurley doesn't just yell. Now he reads, listens, and coaches differently.
Okay.
Well, here's the update. Maybe start yelling again.
Maybe start yelling. Yeah, go back to the yelling, Dan.
And a lot of people pointed out the ref that he called an effing clown against Villanova and got teed up for was the same ref that he had last night at home against Xavier. So I think that they remember. The refs, they're a little fraternity. They all talk to each other. And I think they all say the North remembers when they see Dan Hurley. They're like, you called my boy a effing clown.
Dude, you're not wrong.
And I'm going to referee accordingly.
You're not wrong, and I don't understand why more coaches don't realize this, that it's going to come back to bite you.
Right. The hit is out. Like they're coming for you now.
Holt told me that when Ohio State was in Maui and we were playing San Diego State, and the refs were bad both ways. Both ways. They were terrible. But they were bad both ways. And I was losing my mind too at some of the calls that are being made. But I talked to Holt after that game, and he was like, yeah, I was going to pull my patented move where I get a tech on purpose, the strategic tech, where you fire the guys up by saying, I got your back, I'm going to yell at the refs for you. But then he said, it hit me that there's only like 7 refs that are on this island right now, and these same guys are going to be reffing us for the next 2 days.
Right.
So I held back and decided to just swallow it, and that was that. I was like, yeah, that's how you should have done because Eric Musselman learned his lesson the hard way. Then,
Right.
you know.
He's Eric Musselman, by the way. I mean,
And I
you
think
gotta
Dan Hurley's
respect it.
running into the
He's
same
never
thing.
stopped. You
Yeah.
know, like this. I saw him the other night, and it's like this guy's yelling at the crowd, "Get up, do what you got to do." Yada yada yada. I'm like, Eric Musselman, even though that all happened in Maui, never broke his stride.
It's Musson. I think Dan Hurley and Muss are in like a self-fulfilling prophecy where they just say wild to so many refs that eventually their conspiracy theories that the refs are out to get them are actually true. They work themselves
Right.
around in a circle where you're
Right.
like, actually, the refs probably do actually hate you, and they probably do have a thing against you because
And let's be honest, their dads are both coaches, and they grew up in
Yeah,
that
I know,
era where
I
they
know.
learned. That's how you used to work it.
back
you know
when
what I
men were
mean?
men, dude. I'm preach.
Bill Musselman's like, that's what we
Preach.
used to do.
Dan Hurley is a product of the old Big East, man, and he's
Right.
Sean Miller is too,
Right.
which is
And I saw Joey Calcaterra in that article I brought up. He said that's how he wants his coach to be. He said he wants his coach to be fired up, quoting
Fired, yeah.
Shakespeare
yeah.
at them and yelling at them. That's what he wants.
You know what I want him to do? Win some
Win
basketball
games.
games.
So
I want to get back to winning
I say bring back the
because
yelling.
we are dangerously close to. I'm gonna have to go back and delete some tweets about UConn. I mean,
I hit
like,
the panic button twice though on this show. There's video. If Jim would pull that, there's video evidence where I hit the panic button twice.
Let me. All right. Can we do a positive
says
spin?
no.
Can we do a positive spin for UConn? Let's try
All
to
right.
make the case that they're not dead. All right. Number 6 on KenPom. By far the best 6-loss team in the country. By far, not even close. I think next would probably be IU, Arkansas, Rutgers, somewhere. Probably Rutgers. Carolina. Ooh. Who's a better 6-loss team, UConn or Carolina?
Ooh, that's a good question.
They got DePaul and Georgetown coming up, both on the road. So I think you spin it like if you beat both of those teams, which they should. Now, if they lose to either one of these teams, I'm putting UConn on the bubble. I think I might do it. I think I might do it. I might have to do it. I hate that I'll have to do it, but it might be time. But you win both of those, Tate. You start telling, if I'm Dan Hurley, I tell the team that's 2 big road wins and Big East play. Do not
Huge.
ever take those for granted. Those are impossible to come by. Which they only beat Butler. As I'm looking at it right now, how many away? They beat Florida at Florida. They beat Butler at Butler.
Florida's the best win for a lot of teams, in the same way that Michigan
Yeah.
is. Like Florida and Michigan are the best
So-
resume wins we have going.
So they got these 2 get right games on the
Mhm.
road. They win both of these. You start telling yourself that like for us to win back-to-back games on the road in the Big East, we must be good. And then you have Marquette at home, which you should win. And then we go from there. And now you're back. And now we see if they can get the juice back because then they go to Creighton, which I don't know. That'll be the test. We'll see. So I'm giving them these 3 games. You have to win the first 2. Marquette also have to win, and then Creighton you also have to win, and then
Yeah. Well,
as
Creighton,
it turns out they're all must win.
Creighton's what, number 12 in KenPom now?
Yeah,
Creighton's good. We
dude,
have known
Creighton.
this.
That's
first reported.
First reported.
We
like
knew that the Blue
We-
Jays were good. The thing that UConn had that we loved at the start of the year, November, December, is 2 things: depth and defense. And now their depth is waning. Klingon played 7 minutes in this game.
Yeah,
So it's not as reliable or as needed because they have had to cut the rotation. And the defense just isn't there.
yeah,
It's not the same intensity.
it's not. Except when they're down and they throw like the press
Right.
zone, like just
Let's
throw
press.
Andre Jackson. Like when Andre Jackson's at his best when it's just chaos, and
Mhm.
it's like just go incite chaos on the court. He's like, done, say no more. I can do that. But then he does it on the offensive end. You're like, less chaos on that end, please.
yes.
Less on that end. Keep it on the defensive end. Don't bring it to the offense.
Wrong end.
Wrong chaos.
Wrong end.
Yeah, but anyway, the takeaway is Xavier is I don't know what are we saying now? Are they legitimate Final Four contenders? Because I don't want to say they're national tie.
Let's be honest. Xavier's Elite 8.
Xavier's Elite 8. It just feels right.
Feels
doesn't
right.
it?
It feels like Xavier is going to be in a really good game in the Elite 8. They probably should beat Houston, and then Houston
Or
makes the Final
Xavier's
Four.
no, like the Xavier move would be that they are playing like a North Carolina type situation where it's like they're the better team, but they see the jerseys on the other team and they're like, shit, they might be better than us. And
I hope so.
and then yeah.
I would like that.
Or Duke.
Oh,
That'd be-
God. No.
Duke's not making the Elite Eight. Those
Duke might not
teams.
make the tournament, but we'll see. I'm just kidding, Duke fans. Don't get upset.
No, Xavier. I said though, every national title contender, I give you one stinker. I think that's the way I put it. And DePaul was the stinker for Xavier, but otherwise, I don't know. I think some of the early losses, that's exactly what it was, dude. Like Duke, Gonzaga, they lost to Duke, Gonzaga, and Indiana, and then they rattled off a ton of wins and lost to DePaul. So DePaul's the stinker. The other three, I do think maybe it was like some jersey stuff at play. Where they're
Right.
like, we're not allowed to win this because that team's supposed to be like Indiana at that point in time was
The Duke game felt like that.
yeah. At that point in time, Indiana was the favorite to win the Big Ten and like a Final Four threat and all this sort of thing. And they're coming into Xavier. And if they play that game now, I don't know. Indiana's playing pretty well now, but yeah, I think I don't know. I guess I'm talking myself into to Xavier maybe actually being a Final Four.
I think Sean Miller is the
National
best
title
coach in the
contender.
Big East that's in contention. Because I think Thad is right up there if Thad has a healthy team, you know.
If Thad-
or if
yeah.
he has the talent
If
and
he
a healthy
gets his
team.
guys.
If he
He's
gets his
gotta get his
guys,
guys.
he's
Yeah.
probably the best coach. He and
He's
Sean
got
are
to
right
fire
there.
Diebler too. I mean, Diebler
Right.
has way too much input in that coaching staff.
Mm.
That's not helping. But Xavier's they got to play better defense though. They do have to lock in on that end.
That's why I
do
like
think-
Marquette.
Yeah, they got to. I don't know.
The Big East is
We'll
fun
see.
this year, though.
The Big East is very fun.
I mean, I miss Villanova. I mean, shout out to Villanova. You made the Final Four last year. You're all right. I miss Villanova being in the mix, but now it just feels a lot more open.
Okay, should we move the goalpost on Xavier? Okay, you won at Connecticut. Cool, good. Now they play at Creighton on Saturday. Win that game, and you have my.
I mean, it's Creighton, number 12 in Kimpon.
No, in all seriousness, if they beat Creighton, then it's going to be hard to not be like if they beat Creighton at Creighton, the hype train is going to go full tilt.
What's the
and
highest-
It should, and I will support that at that point.
What's the highest seed that you think Creighton can be? Let's say Creighton just goes on a tear. Maybe they win the Big East. Maybe they win the Big East tournament. What's the highest seed do we think that they could actually be in the tournament? A 4 seed with 8 losses?
Okay, yeah, losses.
That's what's fascinating to me because I think Creighton deserves to be potentially at the end of the year will deserve to be a top 4 seed, but then they have these
Okay,
that,
if they win out, you're saying?
yeah, not even win out. Let's say they just win the Big East regular season, then they win the tournament. It's fascinating.
4 feels maybe slightly high, but like if they
Feels best case scenario.
But also you have to start introducing context because Kalkbrenner being out and
right.
and
That's what I mean. They
some of
had
these-
this 7-game losing streak, but 3 games or 4
I think it
games.
was 6, but yeah,
6
yeah.
games, but Mono is involved and Kalkbrenner
Yeah.
is out for 3 games.
Yeah.
Then you have, I mean, Maui is a really tough game against Arizona.
Yeah, not bad losses.
Right.
Like Arizona, Texas. They played Texas well at Texas.
Right.
Uh,
And again, context says that's a
they
different
played
Texas
Xavier
team.
well, so it's like, yeah, how much context is going to be involved and how much? I think it's going to come down to Q. I think it's going to what
Which-
Q has to say.
Please, Q.
Yeah.
The
and
quad gods are not going to rule in their favor,
what if
unfortunately.
is Q Condoleezza Rice?
I think so.
She spelled
I
with
assume.
she spells Condoleezza with the Q. No. She
For-
sits
for
there on
emphasis.
Selection Sunday, and
Right.
she's like the Magic 8 Ball, and they just like turn her over, and they're like Creighton seed.
Right. She
she's
gets so
like,
many questions, she's just adopted the Q. Same emphasis as Con.
No, I think it's gonna come down to the how many. What's your Q1, Q2,
I can't.
Q
I can't. I mean, some of
Q
these
score?
The funniest thing you can do with your specific team is to watch them win a game and then go look at the net ranking. Sometimes they'll fall 5 spots. They'll win a game and fall 5 spots just by who they play. And this is what I'm supposed to respect. It makes no sense. Bring back the RPI for all I care, but get this net out of my face. Final thought on the quad gods. Can I do good guy because we're talking about the Big
I'm
East.
sure the net. My favorite thing about it, we'll do it.
right.
One more thing
Yeah.
on the net is that I'm sure the net is actually like not complicated, but I do love that you and I both are in agreement that we both looked at each other the moment the net came out and we made an agreement. We will never care about this.
Right. And the more that you throw it in my face, the more I'm doubling down.
We both just looked at each other like
Right.
we make a pact today. We will not figure out how this works,
Mhm.
what a Q1 win even is.
Right. Right. I don't want to know. Get it out of my face.
There was one time, I think it was last year, I almost accidentally learned because I saw someone do a tweet thread. Where
I
they're
think I learned
explaining-
last year because I remember I was arguing about the margins and things, and then I
Oh,
had
because Carolina was on the bubble.
yeah, and then some other super nerd came in and he was like, "The margins don't even matter for net. You're an idiot." And I'm like, Please God, can I talk
you
about
think-
basketball?
Will I fall into that trap with Ohio State where I'll start?
You're gonna be locked
crunching
in.
numbers
I know
and
you already
yelling
are. I
bubbles?
think there's times where you're probably
Right.
sitting over there and you're pulling up Jerry Palm's CBS bracket because Jerry Palm's the biggest hater, at least from what I can tell.
All right, let me
as
see.
far as the
Let me
Blue
see.
Bloods.
Let me see
and
Jerry
the big
Palm right now.
names.
Let me
Jerry
see.
Palm definitely has them first 4 out.
Let me see Jerry Palm. Okay. Where's Jerry Palm at? CBS.
I think he's CBS. He was the one that got me last year. He almost broke me.
He's got Ohio State out. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Jerry Palm, foe of the program.
Yeah, ultimate foe.
He's got-
I can't.
Damn it, dude.
Yeah, it's tough.
We're oh my god, dude. Bracket. You know about bracket matrix, right?
Mhm. Yes.
The
There's
we
too
talked
many
about-
bracket sites, by the way.
But that's why I use bracket matrix.
Right.
Whoever came up with that, kudos to that guy. Tip of the cap to him. Because it just averages them all.
Yeah, he
you know?
aggregated it.
You aggregate it. You
Right.
don't have to look at any one of them.
Sometimes
You
the
just go to there.
aggregators get it right.
Bracket matrix right now. One of the Ohio State's an 11 seed on
Nice.
average. We have an average seed across how many of these? 80 different bracketologies they're taking into account. Our average seed over the course of 80 bracketologies, Tate, 10.88. Okay.
Okay.
The next team, 10.89. Take one guess at who that team is. That's one notch below Ohio State.
Michigan.
College of Charleston.
Oh my God. The Cougars. So
The Cougs.
that's why you're so fired up, because you can see it. You can see the Cougars are trying to take your spot.
I see him coming. Yeah, I see it. I see where this is going.
I had a friend of mine who went to College of Charleston that texted me if he should take the title odds of the Cougars.
The national title.
The national, exactly. That's what I said. I was like, what world? I was like, what are the odds? He's like,
the
I'm
CAA title.
He's like, I'm getting it at 100 to 1. I'm like, that's not even good odds.
I would have looked him in the eye and said, yes, you should make that bet. You should absolutely.
The best part about it was the earnest. Like, he was so earnest in the ask, you know. Like, he's like, I'm just looking at the records.
But that's what I'm. Okay. I
He's
don't.
like,
wanna
I'm
do
looking at that. He's like, I'm not watching.
Okay, this isn't a rant about Charleston. This
Right.
is the problem. This was the
Right.
problem I had all along.
This
It's
is
like,
the AP poll.
the boys in that locker room, the Pat Kelsey and staff. This is not their fault. They're just out there trying to play good ball, and
they're a good team.
and that's all they want.
They're
That's
fun to
all they
watch.
want. So
Yeah.
I at
like the
certain
Cougars.
points when I was going on rants about Charleston, I was unfairly attacking the team. It's not their fault. They've not asked for this. They're not the ones ranking them. What I'm saying is it's unfair to this team and to your buddy and to everyone else when you do stuff like because like if you're not like locked in on college basketball and you only follow the AP poll,
Right.
yeah, of course you're probably saying stuff like that. Like I should put $1,000 on Charleston to win the national
Mhm.
title. You should not do that. Do
Mhm.
not do that.
Right. He also asked
Do
why.
not-
He said, we didn't lose. Why didn't we move up in the polls?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like this is irresponsible journalism. Is what it is.
right. I figured I would run the question by you just to get your reaction. So that was fun.
I do not think you should bet money on Charleston to win.
Well,
the national
Davidson
title.
was a 10
You
seed.
could bet like I would support Charleston to the Sweet 16. That'd be fun.
Right.
That'd be fun. They could do that. That'd be crazier things. have happened,
maybe
but
Elite Eight.
Elite Eight. Why not?
Right.
I'll ride with that. But, dude, worst case scenario for us is probably Creighton plays their way into like a 5 seed, and then it's Charleston Creighton 12-5 game, and they just wipe the floor with Creighton.
Right.
And the
Creighton
team that
just
we've been
has
saying all
they just can't make a 3. They just
Yeah.
can't throw in the ocean. Charleston has like a 20 rebound advantage. Kalkbrenner gets fouled out. It gets in
Yeah.
foul trouble. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen. I'm not going wood.
Yeah,
Please don't
Creighton's
happen.
a bracket matrix right now, 10 seed. So
Is everyone
got- they
10
got
seed?
some-
Everyone on bracket
everyone's a
mate?
10
How
seed,
many
dude.
10 seeds are there?
there are a lot of 10
Carolina
seeds.
also. a 10
Carolina,
seed.
where's Carolina's 7, dude? You guys are Carolina's playing good basketball.
Yeah, get out of here though.
I thought that was when Mintz when he at the end of that Syracuse game when he drove and took both elbows across RJ Davis's face as RJ Davis was in
Right.
playing great
It's good
defense.
basketball play, right?
It was, and I thought Debbie, what's her name, Debbie Antonelli.
Yeah.
And-
Who played basketball at NC State? If you couldn't tell in her
Did
coverage,
she run that cheese shop in the Capital One commercial? Or
maybe.
are those Antonellis? Am I remember that? You
I
remember?
think- yeah,
when
Meet the Antonellis.
Antonellis?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, not the same ones.
Is that
but
her?
Same family.
Yeah, she was like, that's how basketball's taught, and then our guy Gottlieb backed her up, and I was like, this is
Right.
wild. What's going on?
Well, a lot of Carolina fans were upset also at Reese Davis, who I thought that he went to Syracuse as I listened to
No,
the
he didn't
game.
go to Syracuse. He just
He went to Bama, but he works at ESPN.
He works at ESPN.
Right.
I think if you work at ESPN for 4 years, they give you a Syracuse degree. I think that's how it works.
And you met researcher Brian Ives, that does all the Carolina stats and does great stuff for ACC Network, ESPN. But he said that Reese, he has no ill will to Carolina. He loves Carolina, loves Hubert, worked with Hubert.
Doesn't Reese's? I might be more.
So
into
I want to defend Reese Davis because I like Reese Davis, and I like the guy.
Yeah.
But in that moment,
I'm more into the Reese Davis conspiracy weeds than you are, I think, because I saw somewhere that his son is on the Duke baseball team. And does that play into it, Tate?
Probably.
Huh?
Because look, when you join a cult, you got to start adopting some beliefs, unfortunately.
No, that was wild that the end of that Cuse Carolina game was people tried to pretend like it was in any way controversial. But this is a problem that basketball as a whole has, is all these replays and these reviews.
It's terrible.
It really does just completely
right. And the whole flagrant one versus flagrant two, and I'll even bring up Duke with Filipowski, and I know that was unintentional that he got punched in the throat, but I will say based on what flagrant one says that it's unintentional contact that's like harmful. It's like probably a flagrant one.
Yeah.
I mean, but Jim pointed out, when Vince Carter did the famous dunk when he dunked over the guy in the Olympics, and then he comes down and he swings his arm like he's excited and he almost punches a guy in the face.
Yeah. He almost kills Kevin Garnett.
Right, he almost kills Garnett. That's right, it was Garnett.
That's right.
So we've seen it in
Kofi
basketball
Coburn,
court.
I remember, clocked a ref.
A ref, and the ref was like, "My bad."
Boozer, was it Carlos Boozer in the NBA punched a ref in the balls?
I think so. Let's just say it was.
Dennis Rodman kicked that cameraman.
Yeah, I think that one might have been.
Oh yeah, right.
I don't know if that one was an accident.
Yeah, but what we're saying, like, it's just, but
that was the weird, because that one's where
that one
the
will break your
Filipowski
brain.
thing, it will break your brain. Yeah, because I ultimately landed on just being a coward and saying I see both sides, and then stepping out of the room, saying you guys figure it out. I'm gonna sit this one out.
I obviously have a bias against Duke, but I do watch that video and I watched it live, and I said to myself, even though I know he didn't mean to do it, he did.
You did punch a guy in the throat.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean,
it's probably something.
But also, if you lose a game in that way, it's got to be just you'd be infuriated if that was your team and you lost the game in that way. But also, like, we can't just let guys just throw punches,
right?
Even if it's on purpose or not.
Well, that's the big. I mean, and shout out to you. I mean, you were the first person at Grantland writing about this, about ban charges. There's all these people now. They're like, ban charges, get them out of the game. Well, there has to be some sort of like way to stop guys from running over each other. I mean, of
course, I'm
exactly.
I'm a ban charges guy,
right.
And even I was like, that's the charges I'm talking about are the help side, come grab your nuts, secondary defender type shit.
Or
RJ Davis played perfect defense, like literally perfect. If I was coaching basketball, I would show RJ Davis on that final play. This is how you stop a guy who's going full head of steam downhill.
And let's be honest, every single player, coach that saw him do that was like, wow, that was great defense, because that's what you're supposed to do. You put your body on the line, and most guys just get out of the way because they don't want to take that charge because it is going to hurt.
Yeah.
And RJ is hurt.
Yeah.
He's dealing with the
flagrant call. The
flagrants are driving me crazy.
I err on the side in general, call less flagrants.
Yes.
Like, keep the flagrants.
Stop looking.
I would rather, here's a fix. I would rather get rid of all these like accidental type flagrants, because like Mintz wasn't trying to, he wasn't saying to himself, I'm gonna elbow RJ Davis in the face. He was trying to Euro step, and he just was poorly executed.
Right. Well, RJ guessed the spot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it was.
But in those instances, I don't think, like, I know his elbows are high and you're trying to get that out of the game, all that kind of stuff. But I don't like flagrants being called there. I know that's the rule. I know, I get all that. I'm saying make it not be the rule.
Right.
And I think what instead there should be more of is calling intentional fouls, like literally intentional. I would love, a good way to speed up the end of these games is teams that are fouling strategically have to actually like make a play on the ball and like actually strategically foul, instead of like a guy's like driving by him and you just grab two handfuls of jersey, and then the refs are like, oh, he met the foul there to stop the clock. So let's like call that an intentional foul.
Right.
Call that a flagrant.
Right.
And
because then it rewards the other team. They get the ball back. They get one free throw and the ball back.
Yeah. Because then that would like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Like suddenly the last minute of the game, if you're down 7, you could just play like reckless defense and just like swipe at it and like just go crazy, because no ref's really calling an intentional or flagrant unless it's like really, really bad. Because I don't know. That's all. That's all. I would love to get the flagrants out because but again, I played at a time when men were men, dude, and that's
Right.
how like old school Big Ten basketball. That's how we handled it.
And we talked about like the NBA trickle down, the quote unquote points of emphasis. It does feel like this year in particular, it has been a point of emphasis to all these coaches now. One guy like arm flails out on a layup, hits some guy in the face. They're like, look at that.
Look at that. Yeah.
Now
look
we
at
got 20. We got 20
Yeah.
every 20 times a game. We got guys going this.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what's-
please,
you know what's funny?
please get us out of the
You know
game.
what's funny is when I was at Ohio State Iowa game,
Right.
I literally it was me, and I'm not saying this as a bit. Me and me alone got a play reviewed. I swear to God, there was one play. I start screaming, "Let's look at it!" I just go, "Let's look at
That's
it."
championship move.
And then the refs start talking. I was like, "Yeah, let's take a look." And they started looking. Like one ref turns and like looks at me because he thought I was sitting close enough to the bench that he thought. But then he turns and looks at me and he realizes I'm not a coach. But I was just like, "Come on, boys, let's take a look. Let's take a look." And then they looked at it for like 2 seconds and immediately were like, "Yeah, that's nothing." But I was like, "At least we looked."
Yeah.
At least we took a
The other conspiracy theory.
But I'm with you. There's too much. It's far too easy to just like twirl your finger and get a ref to take a look at it.
I think that they're talking to Condoleezza Rice or someone at top when they go to the replay review to like who's supposed to win this game. You know, they're like, what do we have here? What are the sportsbook saying? What's DraftKings saying? Then they get back and they take it off. And they're like, all right, Carolina ball.
Who's the boy? It's been a while since I've watched the Power Rangers, but I remember like there was like
Shout out to the Power Rangers.
the big head.
Mhm.
That's how or I guess Wizard of Oz was the same sort of concept, but I'm for some reason like Zoltek. What was that guy's name?
Yeah, look that up. I can't remember, but I know you're
Jim,
talking
you look that
about.
up.
Zoltan?
Zoltan?
No, not
Is Zoltan? That's Adam Sandler movie, isn't it?
that's the Zohan.
So
I think Zoltan was from Big. That was like the machine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you know how they like
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
that's what I envision when they look at the monitor and it's Condoleezza Rice and her head is just like kind of floating,
Right.
And like a mist. There's a
Yeah.
smoky mist like over top of her. And
Zordon.
Zordon.
That's what it says.
Dude,
I've never
I don't
seen
know.
Power
I think you're
Rangers.
making up all
That,
these
that's
names.
strong for Jordan.
I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Michael Zordon.
Michael Jordan.
And then her head's just floating there, and then she's like, "Flagrant one." And they're
Right.
like, thank you, Q.
Yeah, thank you, Q. Have a good night, Q.
Should we do good guy, bad guy?
Right.
I mean, like, my
Let's do
God,
it. Let's do it. We're gonna
drag
run
this
through
out
it
anymore.
quickly. We're
All
gonna
right.
run through it quickly. It's easy this week. First up, good guy. In honor of Jim Cunningham, this is a man that's near and dear to his heart. We both have bobbleheads of his face. He, of course, is Georgetown head coach Patrick Ewing, who ended the 29-game Big East losing streak against DePaul. Congratulations, Tuesday night.
Did he get carried off the floor?
I watched
Did
this
his
game.
teammate, his players? I mean, put him on his shoulder.
They should have.
And
They should have, because I watched this game. One of the most inspiring moments that they had, just like with what they had with Chris Holtman and Minnesota. Our friends at Fox had mic'd up segments with Patrick Ewing. So you got an inside look at the huddle.
Have you ever shot that shot?
It was a lot of have you ever shot that shot energy, which was amazing. Also, at one point, with about 3 minutes to go in the game, he ripped his tie off. Very
Whoa.
old school. I'm sending a message. We're going to get this win, because it couldn't be 30. It could not be 30 straight Big East losses.
No,
That's
you
too
don't. Nobody
many.
beats Georgetown 30 times.
Nobody
Yeah,
beats
You can't
them
do
30
that.
times.
Yeah, that doesn't
Not
happen.
tonight. Not on our
Yeah.
watch. Not at home. The other fun part about this game, and the reason why he's the good guy, is because those officials we talked about, and shout out to Georgetown, they were aggressive all night. 41 free throws
For Georgetown.
for Georgetown. So they win this game. Again, ends the 29-game Big East losing streak. I think Patrick Ewing is such a good guy because he does this. He gets, the proverbial crowd off his back. They're done now.
Extension.
Yeah, right.
He's
Let's
gonna get
keep
an
this man
extension,
around.
yeah.
But the headlines are out, Titus, and they're saying this is why he's a good guy. They're like, even though he ended the streak that was dating back to 2021, please get him out of here. Please step down. Please be a good guy. In the article, they're asking him to be a good guy. For the sake of the program, step down. After he just ended the streak. And I don't like to see it, but that's why he's a good guy.
Do you think he's gonna step down?
No.
I don't either.
Why
I get
would
like
he?
my read on it is like I don't think.
How
I don't,
disrespectful is it that people are talking about it as a vacant job? And it's Patrick Ewing, We're not talking about
I
some
know,
nobody.
but-
It's Patrick Ewing. I mean, it's tough. 29 games in a row in the Big East for a program like Georgetown, but it's also Patrick Ewing. Like you said,
But
who's
is it- but
going
now-
to tell Patrick Ewing, Dikembe Mutombo? Like, who's the voice of reason
It's
in the
Dikembe,
family
yeah.
of Georgetown? That's
But
gonna
yeah, the
say
guy,
this.
a Georgetown dude pointed out that Mutombo's on the
Right.
board, so I don't think Mutombo can tell him because then that's a little too because then he's like getting fired at that
Yeah.
point. You know what I mean?
I like to think that every one of those meetings ends after they talk to Condoleezza, and then they look at Mutombo. They're like, "Should we fire you?" And he's like, "No, no, no.
Maybe it is Condoleezza Rice that has to
Mm.
tell Patrick Ewing.
She's the only
She's
one,
the only one.
Right.
She's the only one anyone respects in college sports.
and she knows DC. She knows DC.
So everyone talked about the 29-game losing streak in the Big East. Is anyone going to talk about the 1-game winning streak now? Are we going to get that? Or when they play St.
Sunday,
John's? Yeah, Sunday.
St. John's.
St. John's Sunday. Is that in the Garden or is it in
I don't think it's in the. I
would
don't think
imagine
it's
that's
in
going to
the.
be a
I don't think
Carnesecca.
it's in the Garden. But
It
people,
might because it's a weekend game. Don't they usually play the
Right.
weekend games?
It's at the Garden.
Dude,
it is.
Yep.
Patrick Ewing coming back to
The
the
Mecca.
Garden.
2-game winning streak.
2-game winning streak.
And people forget at the start of the year. People do forget this. They started out 2-0. They
I
beat
did
Coppin
forget that.
State.
I did
They
forget
beat
that.
Green Bay. So like, this is not. If you're telling me Patrick Ewing has 2 winning streaks in a season, and
That's
you're trying to
true.
get rid of this man,
That's true. It's a great point.
get out of my face.
That's a great point.
Good guy of the week, Patrick Ewing. Shout out to Georgetown. I'm glad they got the win. It was. I couldn't believe I was watching it as it was happening, but it felt like history. You know, like, there's not a lot of times that you're watching basketball and you're like, I'm a part of history. Because if they lose 30 games, they don't. Hero.
Give me your pity power rankings right now of as they're winning. You have that thought of like this is so cool for them, and you're just kind of laughing to yourself that you're beating DePaul at home. This should not be that big of a deal. Is it Georgetown won, Louisville won, Cal?
I think
Yeah.
Louisville's won.
Louisville still won. Yeah.
Just because maybe it's because of Mike Rutherford. I feel like there's some sort of
I
personal
know.
connection there, and I've seen Mike Rutherford deal with it in real time. Which salute to him, shout out to him. What a soldier. Georgetown just feels inevitable. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I'm
Yeah.
tired of feeling bad for Georgetown. It's been
I
so
think
long.
I think Louisville sees a light at the end of the tunnel as a program.
Right.
Not this year, obviously. Maybe not even next year. But like there is like Louisville's not going to suck forever. But the fear with Georgetown is maybe that they will.
It's over.
I don't know. Like maybe
it's over.
yeah. That's like the worst possible thing that could happen to Georgetown basketball is they win the Big East tournament. That would like every Georgetown fan would actually cry. I think, and
Yeah.
not tears of joy. They
Right.
would be devastated. That would be the worst possible thing. that
And
could
I
happen.
will say, I do like Qudus Wahab. And I think Qudus Wahab has gotten better under the guidance of Patrick Ewing. And I think it was always, people got upset because Patrick Ewing was kind of shelved to be this big man coach, kind of like what, we see with Bob McAdoo with the Miami
Mhm.
Heat. They're like, you're the big man coach. You're a big man. You stay in your lane.
Yep.
You do that. So it was great when Patrick Ewing got the opportunity. We wanted to work. But I think at this point, maybe
Yeah.
all parties involved say,
Yeah.
let's be better.
Let's
Let's win some games.
yeah.
Let's win some games.
Yeah. You're a bad guy.
Bad guy of the week. First, I wanted to do an honorable mention. I saw this on the Today Show. I don't really watch the Today Show much, but it was on my TV this morning, and they brought up college basketball. Which,
Okay, can I guess what they brought it up for?
yes, please.
Okay. Okay? Help me out though. Is this like a recent story or like
Recent story.
macro, like the
It's-
state of the sport?
No, it's a
It's like a
recent
recent-
story, like fun social media. Like, did you see this wild moment? That energy.
I'm gonna guess. I mean, the only thing that comes, the thing that makes the most sense to me is Caitlin Clark. Something. I'm not even kidding. Or Bronny.
I was gonna say,
or
I
Bronny
think-
being a McDonald's All-American.
I think Bronny. Now McDonald's is involved, but not McDonald's All Americans. Bronny should have been the story, but apparently some guy, and this all turned out to be a hoax.
the dude. Oh,
But they talked about it on the Today Show as if it wasn't a hoax. They were basically like, when your Uber Eats order goes wrong at a basketball game, and then
Oh,
they
I
like
saw
cut
that. I
into the
saw
guy walking. And honestly, it was good defense. He trapped a guy in the corner and forced a turnover. So shout out to
Yeah.
that guy. But he had a McDonald's bag. Turns out it was all a stunt. No one. And,
yeah.
and-
He had a lav mic on. He had like
Right.
there were two guys carrying like lights around to get the lighting right in the shot.
Right. It was a very much like Borat. It was like the Borat movie. It was like real, but is it? One of those
One
things.
guy with a boom mic just in case the
Right.
lav battery runs out.
Right.
He's running around.
He was this close
Yeah.
to being the bad guy of the week, though, because the Today Show got me. I'm watching the Today Show. They do a
Yeah.
whole thing.
I think-
Savannah
yeah.
Guthrie's like, I wonder what, how many times, how he got in there, all this stuff. And it was a hoax.
Some TikTok dipshit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But back to McDonald's.
Okay.
McDonald's All-Americans. The real bad guys of the week is the Wagner family. For the first
Okay.
time, 3 generations of McDonald's All-Americans. We got Milt Wagner, we got DeJuan Wagner, and we got DeJuan Wagner Jr. Not to be confused with the Wagner family, who have Franz Wagner and Moritz Wagner, or What are they? There's another Wagner group. There's a lot of people that have this name, but the mercenaries fighting for Russia is
Are
the
the
Wagner
Wagner group?
Yeah. So I want to. So there's three. There's Wagner, there's Wagner, and there's Wagner. And I'm talking about the 3 generations of McDonald's All-Americans. That's Milt Wagner,
Okay, I'm
Dewan
glad
Wagner,
we're
and
not talking
DJ
about-
Wagner.
We're not talking
That's
about
the number
Russian
one
soldiers.
Wagner. That's the number one Wagner in the world. And to have 3 generations, obviously Milt Wagner's at Louisville. Tried to get DJ Wagner to come there. That was the move. But Dewan Wagner is at Kentucky, and his son DJ Wagner, who's the number 1 recruit in some sites as far as the 2023 class, he is going to go play for Kentucky. But all 3 McDonald's All-Americans. There you go.
What if DJ Wagner had gone to Wagner University? What about that? Think about that with
I love the
Wagner's
brand play.
11-7, 4-3 in the Northeast Conference. They're in the mix, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
When DJ Wagner has Trip, his third, Trip
They
Wagner,
should go to
when do you offer?
who's the most famous athlete to like if Joe Montana played for the Grizz, you know, and it
Mhm.
said Montana on his front and back.
Ooh.
Like who's got the best I'm sure there's an example I can't think of. I'm sure there's a guy that
Johnny Utah.
he went to Ohio State, dude.
I know.
But he should have gone to Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a guy named Clemson that went to Clemson?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying-
Hannah Montana.
Hannah- she played outside linebacker for Montana.
yeah.
Steve Young, I guess. He's literally
Brigham Young.
Brigham Young, yeah.
descendant.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's it's not quite.
When you have to draw
right.
the parallel, when you have to make the connection, it's tough. It'd be like, we want a straight one, you know? Where you're
Alfred Gonzaga.
I'll forget. This is a stupid exercise. Moving
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
But
the
there you
Wagner-
go. That's your bag. That's your bag.
That's awesome.
The
Yeah.
Wagner
That
family.
is kind of cool.
3 generations of
But
McDonald's
it also makes you
All-Americans.
feel old. I mean, I wasn't around when Milt Wagner was a McDonald's All-American, but the idea that grandsons are now, that is a little weird. And it even makes me feel old that Dewan Wagner's son, Peja Stojakovic's son, LeBron
Bronny,
James' son
yeah.
are all McDonald's All-Americans. It's oof, yikes.
And we got Carmelo's son on
That's-
the way.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Right. D Wade's
like
son's already like overplaying in the BAL. I mean, we got kids are everywhere. We're old. It's okay. We'll put up with it. But that's the bad guy of the week. Kyle guy of the week. Virginia update. Virginia, we love Tony Guy. The ACC loves Tony Guy. And Steve Forbes, coach of Wake Forest, this week, he said Tony Guy is the voice of the ACC. He is the man in charge. He is the one who should be leading the charge for all of college basketball. The voice of the league. There you go. And this is, you hear the clip. Steve Forbes is basically like, this is the man that will lead us into battle. He will preserve the ACC. Thank you, Tony Guy Bennett.
Virginia, at this point, Virginia is
the class of the
it's
ACC.
the class of the ACC, right?
That's the face of the
But
ACC.
not just Tony. I'm talking about this specific team.
Right.
How many
Right now.
national title contenders does the ACC have?
1. I think one.
And is it Virginia?
I don't think so. But I think Virginia will hopefully, get a top 2 seed and maybe win the ACC. Put some respect on the ACC. That's what they're there for. That's what I mean. You're the voice of the league. You're the face of the league. Virginia, do your job.
All
Do your
right.
job.
All right.
So there you go. Kyle guy update. And finally, Cal's guy update. We talked about it a lot. 4-game win streak for Kentucky right now. And here's your headline. John Calipari loves, all caps, Xavier Wheeler. Wheeler came off the bench Tuesday night, had a nice game for them. That was a lot of the Kentucky fans obviously have been upset all year about the lineups and back and forth and yada, yada, yada. But Xavier Wheeler off the bench seemed to embrace the role and played great coming off the bench. So there you go. Cal's guy, Xavier Wheeler, and there you go. That's the week.
That is a tough spot to be in
Right.
to lose your starting
Lead
spot
the
and have
country in
everybody,
assists.
say that it's your fault, and then like have the results kind of point to that,
Right.
that this team is better when you do come off the bench. What are the expectations for Kentucky now? What do you think is a fair expectation for this team?
I think if you're John Calipari and you're Kentucky, if you make it to the second weekend of the tournament, you won.
I think so too. I think
you
that's
won the year.
Yeah. But they're going to be probably a 10 or 11 seed, right? That's probably what, along with every
I
other
think 10 seed. How many 10 seeds are there?
along with every other team. Yeah, no, if they can make the second weekend, if they can salvage, no matter how it happens, even if they can even if they keep playing well and somehow
Right.
get up to a 6 or
And the
whatever
buyout for
seed.
Calipari goes from, I believe, $52 million to $47 million next year. And then after that, it's $42 million. And now we're talking.
I thought of a few schools that might have guys that have that name. Bradley could be one.
Sean Bradley.
Yeah,
There you
went to
go.
BYU. But
Should have
what if
gone
you
to Bradley.
didn't? Butler, that feels like a pretty common last name.
yeah.
But like
Shout
they
out
probably
my-
have a guy.
Karan Butler.
Yeah, my
they'd
boy
probably have a
Cam
guy
Butler that I played with. Love that guy.
Yeah, none of these are actually work. You understand? Like Karan Butler didn't go to Butler, so that doesn't.
Correct.
Yeah.
But what
So
if he did?
we're
But
still
what if he
not.
did?
We're still not solving this riddle here,
Right.
but we're.
Right. We'll figure it out. Washington and going to Washington. feels-
Washington's a good one.
Right.
There has to be a famous Washington that
I mean,
played at Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Should we take a break?
Let's take a
All right,
break.
let's take a break. Come back. Maybe do a little fraud talk. All right, fraud power rankings. We have a special fraud power rankings this week, Tate. There's only 2 on the fraud power rankings, and it'll make sense in a second. Number 2 is DraftKings, who tweeted out yesterday that Bronny James has taken Ohio State off of his college list.
As a bit or as reality?
I have no idea. I don't know
Who at DraftKings
Who's-
is in with the
Yeah.
James gang?
I'm ready to I'm ready to say like I'm about to like just start making promises I can't keep and say that unless you hear it from me, Bronny James to Ohio State is still on. You know, like I'm the source.
Yeah. You're the scooper. You're the scooper.
I
I find this ridiculous. I find like this is very presumptuous, and it feels like
I have no authority to
an
do
attack.
this, but
feels like an
yeah.
attack.
Unless you hear it from me, it's still on. But yeah, he was. How do you feel about him being named McDonald's All-American?
I mean, I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
I mean, we all. I mean, we.
well, we know the game.
Yeah.
We know that.
I mean, it's literally politics. What's so funny about everything in basketball is that it starts now at such a young age, probably like 7th grade, where politics start.
Yeah,
Where it's like, you got to play on this AAU team. You got to go to
Right.
this school. Well, if you want to do this, you got to go to this prep school because you're going to be a Nike kid, or you got to do. It starts in 7th grade, and being named a McDonald's All-American is awesome, but you know,
but it's
politics.
also it's
It's
you're right.
politics.
The brand building starts at a young age, which is why we're going to at some point pivot to being like a 6th grade basketball podcast
Right.
because it's the last unadulterated version of basketball. It's just purity. It's just kids that love the game,
Right.
and they're not worried about anything but winning. And
That 3rd grade video where the kids are doing
Yeah,
that,
that's right.
that is basically what NBA guys go to watch at the 15 under AAU tournaments.
Shit, great point. That was 3rd grade, so we got to go to 2nd grade, I guess.
Right.
We got to find the 2nd graders that
Before they develop.
Before they develop. Into
Before they turn into like
cocky little.
yeah, right. Little Kenny Lawson Jr.
That's number 2 on the fraud power rankings. Number 1 on the fraud power rankings, and boy, this is not fun, but
It's not fun.
number 1 on the fraud power rankings is us, Titus and Tate. This is and here's why. This is our last show at Fox. And I I didn't want to, so I'll preface by saying this. The rest of the show is probably going to be a little self-important, a little bit of navel gazing going on. So if you're someone that tunes into the show just to hear Tate and I say that your alma mater is good at basketball, or
We speak your name.
yeah, you want us to speak your favorite player's name, all that kind of stuff, you could probably bail on the show now because this is, there's not going to be a lot of that moving forward. What there is going to be a lot of is us talking about our time at Fox, because this is our last show at Fox, and we are leaving Fox. It's tough, man, because I have absolutely loved working here, and this the first of all, us leaving Fox is not a we've not been fired. This happened last time when we left. A lot of, for some reason, people get very bored on the internet and love gossip
Reddit.
and love like trying to figure out what
Right.
the hell is going on. I would like to think that we're not nearly famous enough for people to care, but the public will surprise you, Tate. People care about some weird but yeah, we this was not a situation of Fox letting us go. It was our own decision, and it was that what makes it tough is that like we absolutely love. I'll speak for myself. I absolutely love working here. This is the best place I've ever worked. These last 3 years have been incredible, and to walk away from something that has been so great to me personally, professionally, otherwise. I've made some friends here. I've met some people that frankly I probably won't talk to a lot, but they were great to work with. It's and everything in between. And it's been a fun 3 years, and I don't know. As I'm rambling here, Tate, I realize why I love Irish exit so much because when I have to confront something and say goodbye, I suck at it. So
Right.
I might just let you talk, and I'm gonna take off running.
Right. I mean, I feel that I'm Irish as well, and I like to exit in that strategy. It's always fun to do that. But I mean, when we came here to Fox, and it was January 2020, we
Yeah.
had started Titus and Tate. We did not know. We went to Maui. We did not know what the future looked like for the show. We just knew that you and I love talking college basketball with each other, and
Yeah.
we were like, either we're going to call each other and talk about this, or we should record it. So we decided to record it, turn it into a show. We had no idea what it would turn into, and the fact that we came to Fox and we were in Playa Vista, and just for me personally, that's where I got my first internship in LA in 2014. I worked in the office where we got our show picked up, so I
Wow.
went from an intern working on the digital side to being a talent on the digital side, and that was a nice full circle moment. And then we coming in 2020, we get 2 months. We're shooting off the ground. Louise, our producer at the time, is killing it. She's getting us guests. She's working hard. We love you, Louise. Great times. Pandemic hits. Fox was great to us. They got us equipment. They made sure that we kept the show going. They
Remember
made
the
sure we got
bracket thing we
guests.
did?
Right.
Yeah, they put it. Yeah, they threw us on TV, and we're filming this out of our apartments.
Right.
The fan vote for the best.
Right, North Carolina.
Right.
We
Yeah,
got
Carolina
a
won,
billboard.
that's right,
We
yeah,
got a
for the
billboard
billboard.
on 15501. So we just had some great times. I mean, we also had some moments where Duncan Robinson came on our show and said that COVID was no problem. So
That is, yeah,
that was
that's,
early on in the process.
we don't like to talk about
We don't
that
blame
one.
you, Duncan,
Yeah.
but also come on. No, I'm kidding. But Fox was great to us this entire run, even through that. So that really
Yeah.
said a lot to us. They believed in the show. Michael Buckland, our boss, listens to the show and is a friend of the program, and has
Yeah,
encouraged
Buck.
us
I mean,
throughout.
I'll go through and like thank a lot of people we've worked with, but Buck was for us to when we left the Ringer, we did so without without anything really fully lined up. Tate, we were stupid enough to believe that someone out there would pay us what we're worth, and someone out there would give us opportunities that we weren't getting, and someone out there would believe in us and invest in us, and
Right.
yeah, and this is like we just we believe we took a chance on ourselves, I guess, and we just said, let's leave, let's go find, let's trust that somebody's going to take this chance on us or whatever. And yeah, Buck was that guy, and I'll forever be indebted to him for that because these 3 years, man, have been yeah, professionally, it's like we were doing the show before this, I in a way that like we kind of obviously had something, but it felt very amateurish. Even when we would do it, it kind of would feel amateurish because we
Right.
were just like two bozos, and we still are. But now we're two bozos on a set with at Fox at the Fox studio
Right.
that I pull into the Fox lot every day to film the show, and we have all this great crew around us, and yeah, so to be put in a situation where like the people believe in us and give us these opportunities has been awesome, and I feel these last 3 years I think the show's never been better. I mean, some people might disagree, and some people want us to go back to like Kyle and getting
Teed up.
tattoos and yeah, being teed up and being in a broom closet
Right.
at Sunset Gower, just shoot shit about the FBI scandals and
It was
stuff.
fun.
It was fun.
I had a great
enjoyed
time.
that, but
Yeah.
I think this is the best iteration of the show. Um, so a few things. Number one, the show's not going away. We're not in a position to talk about what's next. Um, we're sort of still finalizing that one, but two, even if we were ready to announce it, I don't think now's the time anyway. I think that I wanted to use today as just like a reflection.
Right.
We'll deal with the
The
next
future.
thing when
Yeah, yeah.
when the time comes. For now, I wanted to just like thank everybody at Fox and thank everybody that thank the people that listen and have been along the ride with us these last 3 years.
Right.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people that said to us we had face for podcasts and that they didn't want us on video. And we
yeah,
said, nay, you will have to look at us. You will have to stomach this. And we came to Fox. They put us on camera. So if you watch the show on our YouTube channel, one, thank you.
yeah.
And two, We will still be doing the podcast on the podcast feed. It is Titus and Tate. That is not changing.
It's not going anywhere. If you subscribe to the podcast, you won't even notice the difference.
And if you're a hater online and you're like, I don't want to see these guys' faces, congratulations.
Yeah, you don't have to
for right now, you don't have to.
You're not gonna have
to. You did it. You did it, hater. But yeah, I mean that is that's really the only change. But I mean, look at the set that they built for us. Like you said, I mean, we went from nothing to something real fast, and that was all because
I remember
the
the first shows we were
with.
doing where we had all these cameras, and I thought I was not going to be rattled by it, and I was like my pants that these bright lights.
Right.
What's the Trump video that people use at the turn them off.
Yeah, turn them down. Too bright.
Too bright.
Right.
That was me like the first week when we got here. Where I'm looking around like, oh my god, dude, we got this fancy ass table and these bright lights and camera crews and all that kind of stuff. So no, I don't think there's really much else to be said. Just thank everybody. Eva, Tyler are in the room right now, our director Chris.
Right.
Jeremy, the camera guy, I don't know if Jeremy's here today, but Jeremy, if you ever listen to this, we love you. We thank you.
John Hill,
Mace,
our guy Thomas Mason,
Nick Rago,
right.
Not
Wes Kaminsky,
Aaron,
anyone but Wes Kaminsky.
Aaron, I think she's here. I don't know where she's at, but
Aaron's always holding it down for us, and like sometimes I'll catch her behind the camera and she's laughing, and I'm like, thank God, I'm not ruining all these people's.
No,
days.
She's laughing because she's like, I thought we were done with the show,
and they just keep going.
Yeah, she was like, Titus said, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, right.
Then that was 35 minutes ago.
Right,
That's why she's laughing. She's like, I'm stuck
shout
in this hell
outs.
of
Let's get shout outs.
Rick, John Marcus. I mean, the list goes on, dude. Like guys, Kat Donnelly, Abby with graphics, like made us those like the sick graphics that we have. And
Danny DeVito as well.
Yeah, we have a guy that works here that's literally named Danny DeVito.
Right.
And
not that Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
He also works at Fox. He's at FX. Will Hagel, who does the editing. Will Hagel, I'm sorry, Will edits the show for us here at Fox, and he is awesome. Don't deal with him day to day, only deal with him over email. That's why I was like, I don't know how to say.
Well, he quit like 6 months ago, so.
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, shout out to Will. I mean, you did a great job for the time that you were with us. Yeah, we just had a lot of great people filter in and out.
Basically, can we just take the audio of Fanta when he was saying like all the great people behind the scene when he was on the show? Because he said it a lot better than we did.
Right.
He did play a great job and say.
Also, Kristen Hurley, she charted a path for us. Shout out to her. She's moved on and is doing bigger and better things than Titus and Tate, but she helped a lot in the build up of this show. So we've had just a lot of people that have come through and been great. So.
Yeah, the Fox Digital team has been great. It's been awesome. I don't know. I'm kind of like prolonging this because the longer we talk, then we still work here. It's not over. So that's kind of how I feel.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna walk around the lot. I've never like taken the time to go. If you watch Welcome to Wrexham when Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney are walking around the lot, I'm gonna go do that after this.
Just go.
It's the last time.
Yeah,
it's the last time I got. I'm just gonna get my little Fox moment of magic in.
Yeah, I loved working here, man. I don't know how else to say it. It was a great place to work. The people are great. They believed in us. They invested in us. So I guess like the question for the listeners is like, then why are you leaving? We'll cross that bridge in due time. I don't know. It's just sometimes in life, it's something comes up and you're ready for what's next. But I would love to. This is not whatever the opposite of burning bridges is, leaving Fox. I'm doing that. I'm building more bridges.
Building blocks.
I love this place. I would love to let's as soon as they cut off my key card, I'm gonna tweet at Fox Sports. Let's collab. Like I will be a Fox guy for the rest of my life.
Right, you're a company man forever.
Yeah, and I say that I technically worked at ESPN. No. Get that out of my face, dude. The Fox Sports is the way to go, and I loved working here. So there's that. I guess we should shout out Jim as well. Jim has worked on the show. Should we thank Jim?
We should thank Jim because Jim has been with us. I mean, he saw us in the broom closet. Jim, of course, a producer at The Ringer, and did a lot of stuff for us over the years, whether it be the Duffies or just random, just Jim things, whether it's putting a dumb video of me doing a Coach K impression or
Sister Jean.
Yeah, Sister Jean telling me to go to hell. I mean, just things that you wouldn't think would be there.
Would have any value whatsoever.
Right, but they do get you.
They do.
Sometimes they get you, and Jim is a very, very funny guy, and love having him be a part of the show and love having him, be one of our good friends. So, yeah, it's not fun to say that farewell, but that's show business,
Getting
baby.
old sucks, dude.
Yeah, I know. Getting old
That is
sucks.
why. I mean, this reminds me why Irish X is the way to go. It is
Right.
like if I could have done this better, I would have called in sick today and then just said
You would have
I would have sent a
press
text.
release.
Yeah, I would have press released
Press
it.
release. Load management. Farewell.
Jim, your thoughts?
Any
Well,
shout outs? Any
any
festivus?
shout-outs?
Do you have to air your grievances?
Anybody like you think that we mentioned that said thank you for helping with the show that doesn't deserve credit?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good
Well,
question.
you got me.
Do you want to
that's all that
rescind any
mattered.
thank yous?
Conrad,
Conrad.
Conrad.
Yeah, Conrad helped us
Shout out
out,
to
yeah.
Conrad. Super nice guy.
Conrad Company.
he's
yeah.
not here anymore either. Tate. just let you know. Okay.
There's so many people have left. I'm just yelling, and I keep thinking they're back there. You know what I mean?
Yes, around the corner.
Like, Conrad, good to see you, buddy.
This is a bad time to announce that I think I'm pregnant, so that's
Oh my
a little
god.
awkward. But besides that, a couple fun things we did. Final Four in New Orleans.
Right.
Final Four New Orleans was awesome.
Me getting robbed at knife point. And
Yeah.
almost
That was
dying.
awesome. I don't think that really had anything to do with Fox, you getting robbed at knife point,
Right.
but it happened nonetheless.
I
and we
think that there was a
remember-
lot of karma plays happening, and like your life being at risk, me almost dying on the flight in was all the things that had to happen for Coach K. to
Titus
die.
almost dying at the Big East tournament.
That's true.
Right,
Yeah, I
right.
did.
Good
yeah.
times.
Yeah, right. That was
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, we were on the brink.
I almost died in the cab ride to the St. John's game we called. How cool is that, man? This company let us go on television and call a
Oh, yeah.
live college basketball game.
In Queens.
And they knew we're two bozos and we're not qualified for it really, but they
Right.
still were like, let's do it and let's see what happens and have some fun.
And the Union TV Fox guy, as you were like, clearing your bodily fluids out, he was like nice enough to be like, "Hey man, if you need some help, I'm right
come
here.
here."
I'll hop on the mic." He's like 70-year-old stats guy. I was like, "Thanks a lot, dude." Yeah, I was like, I might need you.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like those little moments I took for granted as they were happening, but then I look back and I'm like, dude, we've gotten so much better at this, I think, and it's because of them just throwing us in the fire like that. Like
Right.
I'm vomiting all over my suit in a cab ride on the way to St. John's, and I have to just sit down and do a live basketball game, and I was
Right.
not prepared for it. But then now I come away from it like that was pretty sick that they let me do that. And that was sick that they sent us on the football tour too.
Mhm.
That's another thing I'm gonna remember.
Yeah, the sweet story.
the
That was a
sweet-
great.
that
That
was
was
a
a
great-
great
Oh,
gym
yeah.
moment in time.
Getting thrown out of the suite. That was
Yeah.
good.
Titus and Tate.
This
history
drunk
that-
guy, and
yeah.
that's Jim,
Mhm.
who's
Thinking about
allegedly
9/11.
stone cold sober.
Thinking about
allegedly.
that.
Dead sober, thinking about 9/11. Nice. Accused of being drunk. and thrown
Oh
out.
man, so
Kyle
good.
got engaged. That was another good one.
Oh, that was right. We told that.
That was a
story.
fun story.
Yeah,
that was a
wow,
good
I
story.
forgot
Good
that
episode.
that happened.
Woodstock '99 was a fun
That was
show
fun.
we did.
Manti
in this
Te'o,
era.
Far From It, the documentary was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. That was the recent times. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Do we want to continue to reminisce? I'm fine with it, dude. We can do this as long as we
Member
want. Like this is,
Gym class.
Yeah,
We went to
Jim
the
Glass.
Donda game.
we did go to the Donda
Right,
game,
right.
and that was horrifying.
Just halftime. We just saw the
Yeah.
halftime show.
We
for
actually
5 minutes and
canceled
we left.
Donda before anyone else because
Yeah.
we went to the
Yeah, it
game and
was
we were
a
like, "This is not
disaster.
right. This should not be happening."
The Gus Johnson interview when he came on the
Wow.
show, and we got this man to cry.
Right. Told the story of
Yeah.
where he sat calling games as a radio play-by-play guy at Howard.
And if I remember right, I want this footage for my own personal safekeeping. So somebody at Fox, please send it to me. When Gus Johnson said that was a great question to me.
Oh, nice.
Like I asked
you
him
want
something,
that?
he was like,
you want that in your resume?
that's actually a great question.
Right. He's the best. He's
Like
the
that's a
best.
really, really, really
Yeah.
well thought out question.
Yeah.
Shout out Steve Lavin.
Oh man.
He was great to us.
Still great to me. I tell you this all the time, but me and Coach Lav, we're like LinkedIn friends. We just like
LinkedIn Lav, baby.
I just send him like motivational quotes from George Raveling, and he like responds with like double prayer hands, like "Thank you for this motivation today."
Rob Stone.
Rob
dude.
Stone on Fox.
You
the
want to talk
GOAT.
about a guy who could have just
Big timed us.
big timed us at every turn and did the exact opposite. And we'd
Right.
be up here watching March Madness games, and he'd kick us out of the studio because there's some like soccer game he's got to
Right.
use the studio for some reason. But in between all of his shots, he'd come back to our back room where we're watching all the games and kick his feet up and
Yeah.
Kick us out of
some-
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kick us out of there. No, and he'd talk basketball with Rob Stone's the man, dude. Rob
Right.
Stone is a guy who could just he never even had to make eye contact with us. He's not he doesn't have to do that.
Rob
he did the
Stone-
opposite. He wanted to watch games with us, talk to us about everything. He's great, dude.
Rob Stone at the Final Four in New Orleans, pulling for North Carolina there, meets my mom, my brother, introduces himself, asks him all the, just like the nicest guy in the world. And my mom and brother are like, that's the main guy on Fox. That's the guy that does the World Cup. And that's how he acts.
That's the
He's
guy.
the best.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
He's the guy.
Shout out to Rob Stone.
Recurring guests: Mike Rutherford, Moses.
Oh, yeah.
Moses more important than Rutherford.
Moses is not staying at Fox. I talked to the. We hashed out a deal that we get to keep Moses. And,
Right.
Moses
Moses honestly was going to be the stand-in for the next new big dog movie that's going to, there's always a big dog blockbuster that comes out, Marley and Me, whatever it is, but he was going to step in and do it.
Andy Katz became a regular during the Fox tenure of Titus and Tate.
Legally binding.
Legally binding.
In his contract. Had to go on Titus and Tate.
Shout out John Fanta for coming on the show one
You lied
time.
to
And
Fanta,
I kind of did, dude.
You brought Fanta on and you were like, I can't wait to do more Fox interviews
dude.
with you.
I
I'm
didn't
a
say
Fox
that,
guy forever. No, you said this. Pull the tape.
And I'm not just saying that. He said, and I'm not just saying that, I swear.
You said, hold me to it.
No, it was tough because Fanta, I don't know if he said it on air, but he said it off air. He's like, I'm coming to LA for XYZ in a month or two. Like, we should get together. And Fanta, if you're listening, I would still love to get together.
We want to get together.
We just unfortunately are not going to get together here.
At work.
Yeah, at work. We're going to have to, do drinks or dinner or
something. Lying to you,
Fanta. I don't know. I don't know. Two guys behind the scenes on TV, Steve Shear and Jordy Wimmer, were huge Titus and Tate proponents, and they went to bat for us in a lot of ways behind the scenes, and played a huge part in us, getting on the bracket show and doing the St. John's game and all, and they were great to us. And when we were there at the Big East tournament and going wrong, I'll never forget we were supposed to do, I don't know if we've even talked about this on the show, but we were supposed to do live shows
after the games,
after every Big East tournament day
on the court.
This was last year, right? We were supposed to be on the court. And so the way it worked was the Fox TV crew went first, and they did all that. It was Rob Stone and I forget
the A-team.
The A-team. It was Stoney and the boys.
Mm-hmm.
And they go first. They leave. They shut the whole thing down, and they sign off from live television. And then Tate and I were supposed to come sit in their seats and do more casual, laid back, like turn our hats backwards and have a skateboard and be like, we're not like those other TV hosts. We're the cool
Wayne's
kids.
World.
Yeah, we're gonna Wayne's World it from Madison Square Garden.
3, 2.
Yeah. And we were gonna do live shows on YouTube, I think. And the show starts, and they have this union crew that's working.
New Yorkers,
a bunch of New Yorkers, like a bunch of Jim's people,
right.
And one of the guys that's working,
Jim's smoking a cigarette with one of them.
Yeah, Jim.
That's my uncle.
I think Jim put him up to it because I think Jim was like,
that guy was awesome.
Jim was like, these two dipshits, like, give them hell. They don't. So we start trying to cover the game, and this one like stagehand guy would not shut up, and he's like talking as loud as I'm talking right now, as you and I are looking at the camera talking, and then I literally hear the guy go, Gary, they don't know what they're doing. They're not looking into the camera, Gary. What do I do?
Remember, he kept hitting the cameras too.
Right.
Yeah,
he's tapping the camera.
Yeah, because like
wasn't distracting at all.
Right.
Tate and I do, obviously a podcast. Like those of you that are watching on YouTube, we don't sit here and turn and look at the camera every single time we're talking. We're talking to each other. So that's what we were doing. And this guy's losing his mind because he wants me to be Rob Stone and look into the camera and read the prompter and all that kind of thing.
It was like when a parent is trying to get the baby to look at the camera. Like, hello, over here. Like, shaking the keys.
And it wasn't like if you're listening at home, you're thinking like one time, get over it. No, I mean, he did this the entire time.
He did this for 10 minutes.
If there was ever a video to come out, I'm laughing. Like you're talking and
we're on live.
Yeah, and I'm just dying laughing.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm
in
sure
the
that
Mecca.
you can hear the guy. Yeah, we're in Madison Square Garden. There's like the logos right behind us. The big
Billy
East
Joel
logo.
banners everywhere.
So funny. So anyway, we cut basically I wasn't gonna just like storm off the set, so we kind of just like cut the show short. We're just like
you got up.
all
You're
right,
like,
that's
I'm
it,
out.
see you guys. And I walked away, and I was like, that went horribly, and I was pretty shook by all of that. But then, like, honestly, the way I interpreted it was like, I suck at this. Like I walked away thinking, oh my God, Fox is never going to give me any opportunity ever again. That was my one shot in the Mecca. The lights are bright. Everything's, and I blew it. And I couldn't even handle a guy pointing at the camera. And I thought like the Fox people were going to be like, listen, son, this is how television works. If you want to be on TV, like sack up and do all this. So we go back to the hotel, and Jordy is sitting there in the lobby, and he's like, "Oh, what's up, Titus Tate? How
He's
was
like,
that?"
"That was quick."
Yeah, he's like, "That was quick."
Because it was like an 8-minute. We sat there for like 8
we
minutes.
were going to do a half an hour. We were there for like 8 minutes.
Right.
He goes, "That was quick. How'd it go?" And I was like, And then it just, I realized like at some point it's going to get back to him that it went horribly. So I was like, I got to be honest, man, that was a train wreck. And then he starts cackling, laughing.
Yeah, he thought it was the funniest thing he's ever heard.
And he's like, "What happened?"
He's like, "What'd he say to you?"
And we told him the story, and he was laughing. He's like, "Don't worry about it." And I guess I wanted to tell that story because that was really cool of Jordy to do that. Because like I was my pants, man, that Jordy was going to be like, "All right, well, we gave it a shot, and you're obviously not cut out for this, and you're fired." Like that's kind of what I expected.
Right.
And that didn't happen, and I was really appreciative of that. So I wanted to say that. I don't know. Is there anything else?
Yeah, shout out to that Union guy.
Shout out to the
Awesome.
union.
Yeah, he brought the best out
True.
of us, to be honest with you. I think we came back and we were like, ever since that moment in time, we've never been phased.
Yeah, I know. It really
Like
is.
he was the ultimate hater. Like he was #1 hater.
That's what I'm saying is like these moments of
I just was literally I didn't say a word in the whole thing because you were trying to talk to me, but I couldn't even hear you because he was talking like I could hear him. I couldn't even hear you, and I was just dying laughing.
But once you go through that,
Right.
and then we're doing March Madness live shows, and I'm not flustered by anything. Like once you handle a union man tapping a camera and saying, "Gary, they're not looking. What do I do?"
Right.
Once I've been through that, like
Well,
this
it's
is
the
this is
stand-up
all
thing.
easy,
It's
you
like
know?
once you bomb the first time, like you don't care anymore. You're like you got the you're over the hurdle. You're like, okay, that's the worst it could have gone. So here we go. But shout out to Jordy. What a great dude. And what a great time.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be it, man. I don't know. I don't know how else to because I know people are gonna for some reason speculate and talk and all that kind of thing. And I just wanted to reiterate over and over and over that I love Fox. I both past tense and present and future. I loved our time here. I'm very appreciative of it. I think the show, it's been great for the show. It's been a great work environment for just like the team of people that we have here. They're so fun to work with and creative and all the difference that everything just gets you just get like a yes, I wanted to do certain things. They're like, "Yeah, let's try it. Let's just figure it out." And it's cool. It's cool to work at a place like that, and I don't take it for granted. And I just wanted to say that. And I don't know how many of our people listening care. I guess I don't know. This is the part where I get insecure about some of the listeners that are like boring. Talk about talk about Iowa State.
The
beating
union
Kansas
guy
State,
is listening right now.
Yeah, he's like,
look right here.
But yeah, it change sucks. I think we're both in agreement of that we're not two individuals that love change, but sometimes I don't know.
We're small town guys.
Life throws change at you, and you got to take it. So we're gonna move on to something next. But those of you that listen to the show, if you're subscribed to the podcast, you don't have to do anything. Like you only notice a difference really in terms of we'll be back next week, talking all sorts of noise about college basketball. And,
right.
Away we go. But I just wanted to pause right now and thank everybody at Fox for a fun 3+ years.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss this set. I love this set.
The set's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's the best.
Couple other people. Craig Pintons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. AD for LMU.
Yeah,
Always has our back.
Yeah.
Love him.
Good dude. Hooked us up with Final Four tickets.
Right.
It was great.
Right.
Yeah.
Coach K for all the content.
Yeah.
Bow down forever.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. There's a lot of people that thought when Kay left, the show would be over. But we don't really talk about Kay anymore.
No, I don't even remember the last time we did, honestly.
Right. Well, yeah,
Bill
but
Walton.
the show's ending, so I think those people were right.
Right. Actually, no, right. You might, yeah.
Bill Walton, in this frame picture on set, we were supposed to, wasn't the original idea we were going to change this every show?
Right.
And then I don't know what happened, but we did Bill Walton and then we just left it.
We loved it so much that we left it. Yeah.
The
And
Pac-12.
Chris, our director, who's a USC guy, he's like, yeah, just leave that there. Just
shout out Chris. I know I already mentioned you, Chris, but Chris rules, and Chris
got the show.
Chris got the show.
Yeah.
And that's all we've ever asked for.
That's all I ever wanted.
Chris got the show so much that when USC wins, he comes in and will not shut up about it. And I can tell that USC is not playing good basketball because Chris doesn't have a damn thing to say to me when
UCLA tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
Drew Peterson night.
Chris is probably really upset about that because Drew Peterson's gonna ball.
He's
out.
the listener that was like talking about USC. Big game tonight.
It's like boring. Talk about the USC. You're still like
talk about the Trojans.
Any other shout outs or otherwise, like in the world of like as we normally do shout outs, I guess?
Honestly, honestly, I'm all shouted out. I mean, shout out to Fox. I don't want to, like you said, I don't want this to end, but I got to take some pictures of the set, just because they went all out for us. And whenever I see Shannon Sharp, one last thing, whenever I see Shannon Sharp on this set doing Club Shay Shay, I'm just like, that's our set.
That's our set. Yeah. Yeah.
As Akon's telling stories, I'm like, Akon's sitting right where Titus sits.
Another great memory of the time here at Fox was I saw a coward in the parking lot.
Right.
And he made eye contact, and then he gave me a little head nod.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was pretty sick.
Right.
I thought I interpreted it as I was getting booked on the show. I think I would cross some wires there. That never really happened, but still, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty freaking cool. So
love that. Love that. Great moment in history.
You guys mentioned Tyler, right?
Yeah.
We mentioned Tyler.
Right,
but we love Tyler.
Tyler, did we mention you? Yeah, we did. Yeah, we mentioned
Tyler is our
Never mind.
Notre Dame correspondent forever in my book.
Yeah.
If I ever have a Notre Dame question, I feel like I'll go to Tyler.
Yeah, and
he knows what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he's still
gonna do
objective. He talked about South Bend,
Yeah.
He broke it down. You gotta respect that.
We're still gonna do that. He's gonna be our Notre Dame guy.
Right.
Did you watch? Tyler's not mic'd up, but I'll relay what you say. Did you watch Penn State? Because
No, I was watching Notre Dame.
That's good because the first I gave Tyler homework to. I gave Tyler homework to watch Penn State because Shrewsbury's going to be the guy for Notre Dame.
It wasn't a good game, right?
they stopped,
Right.
dude.
Yeah. Wasn't a good
Rutgers
Shrewsbury
beat their
game.
ass.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it. I'm like, I hope Tyler's not watching this.
Yeah.
This is not a good.
Well, you're watching. You're like, maybe Steve Pikel's the guy.
Yeah. All right, that's it. We got to say goodbye at some point. Let's make it now. Thank you again to everybody at Fox. Thank you to those of you that have been along on this journey for us. Again, if you got a tattoo, a Titus and Tate tattoo, by the way, on your arm, that's okay. The show's not going anywhere.
Right.
We're just moving on from Fox. So
And good for you.
You don't have to worry about
Good for you.
interview listening when you got the tattoo. See you guys.
Thank you.